Good evening everyone, Ragewood here, back with another Godforge video. And my god, we've got a spicy one here for you today. Simon has done his usual sort of Tuesday updates, but there has been a lot shown to us in that. So we're going to take a deep dive into it all. This is not going to be a 5-minute video, so feel free to grab a brew, get some snacks as we take a look into this together. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, before we go anywhere, as always, if you have not signed up to the beta, you can come to fateless.gg, click the beta sign up button, fill in the little form, and then as soon as any news gets announced about the beta, you will be informed. Also, as always, I'll put the link to Simon's actual video down below, so if you want to watch and digest without my sort of spiel over the top, you can do that. It is also 11:15 at night as I'm recording this, so firstly, apologies for the lateness of this coming out. I'm now working evening shifts, so I don't finish till 8 o'clock. By the time I've eaten and all that, we come to now. But also, it's kind of late, so if I miss anything or something's not quite right, do let me know. So let's jump into it.
Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. I've got an absolute mammoth video for you today. So there's different inflection points where you are running a new game development company where you basically have to take stock and say, right, are we on the right track? You know, do we need to pivot any of our actions, our pipelines, anything to make sure that we deliver a brilliant product? And ultimately, everything this team wants to do right now is deliver a fantastic game which is enjoyable for the players, which also returns some profit for our business and our investors. And ultimately, you know, everyone is just like thrilled when the product comes out. We've been able to attract an insane team, honestly. If you've not watched the podcast where we talked about some of the new people coming in, wow, actually like crazy dudes that have been in the industry for a long time, understand game development, and actually they've come in and done a bit of.
Those are actually really fun videos to watch. If you haven't had a chance, do go watch them, especially the first one he showed that was released fairly recently, like Turok and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Some really cool stuff that they were talking about in there.
An audit of where we are so far, and we've almost had to put a bit of a stop on certain activities to then rebuild up with more effective pipelines, more effective management of assets, and work with specific groups if we need to, we're going to do for the future. So we kind of had this moment in time where we're actually looking at, should we change anything? And in this video, I'm going to take you through a couple of really cool meeting like presentations that we had yesterday. I'm going to take you through some new 2D, some new 3D, some new environments. I'm going to take you through how we're changing some proportions of characters and what that looks like. I'm going to take you through animations, this kind of like new feel to a 3D gym where we're able to see animations and VFX. So a whole ton of stuff. I've seen a...
I tell you what's funny, so when Simon mentioned in the Discord about a 3D gym, I was like, oh, I bet it's this. And turns out this boy is not just good looks, I was so right in that. And as you can just tell from this sort of spiel he's just given, there's going to be an awful lot leaked to us here, and there really is. So,
a ton of stuff in our Discord. By the way, you can join the Discord. I'll put a link down below. You can also still sign up to the beta. We've got over 25,000 people signed up at this point, but I'll put the link to that down below as well. But yeah, in the Discord, I see a lot of people say, you know, when is this game coming out? I thought you said it was this year or whatever. We've never said that. The beta is planned for late Q1 next year, and then the launch is planned for, you know, Q3 next year.
Beta coming in March. If you don't know, go check out my video. Actually, my most viewed video on this thing. Turns out clickbaiting works. Who knew?
That being said, we will launch a beta or the game when we think it's good enough for you guys to play it.
Confirmed I was wrong. Beta is not coming in March. much. No, to be fair, it goes without saying. In a video that I did, I covered from something that Simon mentioned previously, is that they were aiming for sort of March next year, Q1 for the beta. But as he says there, by the way, I've done him so dirty again with that pause. Anyway, if the game's not ready in March for beta, they're not going to drop it, You only get one opportunity to make a first impression, and after that, you can't go back, alright? So it's important that they get it right when they drop it, even if it means waiting another 2-3 weeks. I'd rather it gets dropped right than dropped early and incomplete.
Okay, and that's just being honest. Yeah, we want, as I said earlier, to deliver a brilliant product. So let's dive in. Let me take you first through a good chunk of the presentation that Dane gave yesterday. And Dane is our art director. And pretty much like these meetings are awesome. So firstly, what we do is we get the whole Fateless team together, and we have the different leads of departments take the team through their progress, their challenges, all that type of stuff, because it gives everyone a better feel, I guess, for how the project is moving.
So I'm just going to mute this here, okay? And this bit will sort of skip a little bit, but we'll go to it. I'll let you read it with me, and we'll go from there. So basically talking about how, say, these bullet points, okay? A lot of the concept modelling and things like that are now not needing the Fateless interaction. A lot of them are getting to the point where it's like, this is what we think, and they're going, that's awesome, put it through, rather than all the adjustments. Say significant progresses in cutscenes, Fateless-led 2D meetings are reducing iterations, encouraging artists to offer ideas to each other, blah, blah. Technical issue, no, actually, to be fair, we should probably let them talk about that stuff.
They're letting the reins off a bit, which is what we wanted from our artists. Ultimately, as them for these characters go. We're getting progress in cutscenes and the cinematic. I'm going to show you a couple of snippets of that in this video. We've got new kind of meeting structure, which is helping iterations and also helping artists to basically collaborate with each other, which is brilliant. It's exactly what we want. We've got improvement of technical issues, allowing facial stuff going on. We've got better rigs now, which means that the animations are smoother. Lots of improvements behind the scenes that you wouldn't have seen so far in our videos, but I'm going to show you a bit of it today. Technical aesthetics are being addressed, things like visual quality, proportions. Again, I spoke about that a little bit, but we're going to see it. And then we're improving our sprint results in terms of speed of delivering stuff, which is cool for arts, because art's one of the big kind of like blockers really for us releasing on time. Number of characters, number of environments, all that type of stuff, number of bosses. So the bad here, we've got...
Also, I suppose what I should say, if you haven't been keeping up with the Fateless videos, what Simon means by a sprint is they do things in like 2-week sprints. It's like, this is what we're going to get done, and then they sort of review that. At least that's what I believe he said in a previous video, but that's what I think it is, like sprint results, 2 weeks, we're going to smash all this out and then get it done.
Fixing pipelines and standards feels like it's setting us back. This was like Dane's feeling, or certainly the team's feelings, like putting a stop on things to fix these different elements. Feels like we're just kind of like wading through quicksand, but actually when you come out the other end, you're fixing pipelines to go faster and to be improved. So you kind of have to do these things from time to time. The first big change we made in this game was actually when we changed our combat system. And since that moment in time, honestly, we haven't looked back. It's just felt better and better and better. So this is one of those moments, I think, where take stock, improve, and then we fly forward.
The other thing to mention about that is he said they're putting everything on hold to improve the background stuff. Now, I played Raid in its early conception. I joined during I forget his name now, the ogre who looks like a leprechaun. That fusion essentially is when I started playing. And for the longest time, we were told that Raid couldn't make changes or updates that we wanted because, like, the background coding or the thing the game was built on was a pile of crap, and they couldn't go back and then sort of undo it to make those improvements and those changes. Now, how true that was, I don't know. Whether it was laziness, who knows? But, you know, it's a brand new studio, especially for Fateless. The one thing they could probably benefit hugely by is by taking moments like this to sort out, let's call it like your foundations, okay? The stronger your foundations, the stronger the building above it is going to be, all right? So, yes, it might suck for some of the team that are having to pause, essentially, but long term, this is going to be better for the overall health of the game and future games.
Here he says the structure for developing stages and environments needs to catch up with other pipelines, things like character development. So environments probably in terms of implementation is just lagging behind, and that's something which we're working on right now, and you'll see that in this video. So this was a nice little breakdown actually in very arty Dane style, which I like. So 76 of our characters are now fully made in 3D, 108 are designed in 2D, and obviously we've got a chunk left to go, but you know, that's a decent number of our characters that we will launch with at this point. You know, we're aiming for 250 for launch, and we'll see if we get there or not, but that's the aim. You know, we're close to over 180 that have been at least concepted, which is massive. And then for beta, again, we've got a number of like 150 that we want to hit. That's going to be a number of the factions in a decent chunk, plus some enemies to fight from different factions. So again, 41.
Sorry, 76 plus 108 is 184. That's 2/3. 2/3 of the characters that are going to be in the game are sort of there. And then, as he's saying, for beta, they're going to go for 150.
One actually made, 78 concepted. We're a decent chunk of the way to what we want for beta.
So again, that's 111 odd. That's pretty good going.
Go into like what we're looking forward to. So honestly, cool environments that are easier to collaborate on, clean animations because of our new pipeline management, more hero diversity because a lot of the ones we've got to do are kind of like the high rarity stuff, increased pace of pipelines, and then a VFX and character staging gym. I'm going to show you early stages of this today. So let's get into it then. So some new concepting coming in here. Damn. If you had to pick one of these samurai, which
would I pick? Number 3 is calling to me. Definitely. I mean, they all look sick, and you know, it's obviously personal taste. I think number 1 has more of like a traditional. 1 and 2 probably has a more traditional sort of samurai feel, but number 3 for me.
One would you pick? I saw this for the first time yesterday, and I was like, I literally want all 3 in the game.
Okay, Dan Borth concept tests. Don't know who Dan Borth is, but unfortunately, there's no character name there to suggest who this might be for. This could just be generic samurai, like a uncommon hero for Kajiki. Now, has Grim edited that on purpose so I can't see it, is the question.
Game. They are so good. I was like, oh my god, they are so damn good. I want all of them in the game. But yeah, really, really cool work. Absolutely flipping amazing, honestly. Like, so good. YST's probably doing somersaults right now, like these.
For those of you who don't know who YST is, he is a raid streamer. Famously has like a Genzin mask. Like, he loved that character. That was his thing. So, yeah, could see why.
Look, sweet.
I mean, to be fair, YST probably likes number 3 because that is kind of like a Genzin mask.
So you can see some of our new concept artists are really kind of like getting the feel of the game and the feel of this genre, honestly. You know, in terms of like really pushing the boat. We've got another one here where we kind of had a test concept artist come in and do some work. Again, this is from the Echo faction, so you know,
Echo.
Vibes.
Okay, Echo faction got the kind of similar sort of ring halo to Shamash. I'm going to go out on a whim and say this is probably Ishtar or Inanna. I forget which one's which. One of them's Mesopotamian, one of them's Sumerian sort of name for her. Queen of the Heavens, a really important god. But then would she be so downplayed? Like, A feels more legendary, B and C feel kind of toned down, so who knows? But that would be my guess.
Different type of feel, and that's exactly what we need. We need a faction to have like a, you know, this feel behind it that is really sweet. Ah, man.
Oh!
I don't know if I was meant to show this one. Heimdall is looking absolutely insane right now. Damn, look at the cloak. Look.
Whether you were meant to show it or not, I'm glad you did, sir. Wow. Look at that Heimdall. God, that's such a cool sort of concept for him. So Heimdall is like the guardian of like the Bifrost. He sees all as well. So I love the fact that he's got eyes in the back of his head. I think that's wicked.
Look at everything that is going on. We've got here, could have snow particles on or Bifrost.
Or a VFX similar to Freya's glow. Yep. All for that. Wow. Man, I love that. That is so good. And you got the Yellowhorn and Hofund as well. Hofund, it was like the sword used to control the Bifrost.
As like a glow. Again, we've just got this VFX kind of feel going into the concept work. The different patterns here. You know, the weapon Hofund intended to look like a cosmic key. So it's kind of like what he uses to use the Bifrost Bridge. Just so good. I absolutely love it.
That was sick. And do you know what's interesting, right? So saying Esther's pulling it out of the bag. Now, obviously, I don't know anything really about the inner goings on at Fateless, but from looking at the videos, Esther was actually one of the first artists to have been working with Simon and the rest of the Fateless team. And you sort of notice now, maybe this isn't the case, that when I see Esther's work, especially like the concept arts, like she gets it now, sort of thing. She's probably one of those people where they're like, Esther, make this person, and she just says la la la, done. And then Simon goes, yeah, that's exactly what I want. That's perfect, and then just ticks it. She's probably one of those people where he doesn't need too much iteration now because she's been doing it for so long. At least that's my guess.
Always another one of our newer concept artists here, Kelly Tan.
Guan Yu. Guan Yu. Did that say rare? It did say rare. Wow. That's a slap in the face for the God of War. I mean, but if he's a rare, gosh, who else is coming in the Jade Empire faction? Crikey.
Kelly Tan basically done Guan Yu. Yeah, again, for a rare character, really feels like it hits the mark. This one's actually already going into 3D now.
It's interesting. It's very similar to the Smite version of Guan Yu. But then I suppose actually when you're basing it on actual characters from mythology and history, you know, I know you're allowed artistic licensing, but you're not going to put too much on it because that's who they were. You know, you're not going to make Guan Yu bold and wearing shorts and a vest top because that's not what he was.
There's an update on the weapon here, so that's going to be improved, but ultimately for the Jade Empire, we're starting to get some of the heroes coming through as well.
Nice.
This is another cool one, Tengu.
Funny thing about Tengu. So way back during the Beowulf sort of content creator week, if you will, so to speak, we were given the silhouetted image, which what did turn out in the end to be Freya and Hel. But at the time, I said it could possibly be Tengu. It could also be Tengu, because he was a winged character. And then here we are. We have Tengu here. That's really cool.
Damn, this is a rare as well, but really sweet. I love the side profile. Give me a longer nose. That's all I want. Yeah, really cool. Great weaponry as well. But yeah, you start to get a feel for different concepts coming in. This is our Guinevere here.
Oh, Christ. Wow, she is pretty. Like, she looks fantastic. Epic hero. Kind of makes sense, to be fair. Let's make a note of that for myself for the website. But, wow, she looks stunning. I love that concept. That's so good and, you know, arguably better than King Arthur. Wow, the details of her face. Right, so we're going to read all this. Details of her face and hair, some freckles clicked in on her cheeks. Yeah, love that sort of British. I mean, I'm a big fan of freckles myself, obviously. Crown with the oval adornment. Hey, remember a couple of weeks ago when they said Ran? They did that sort of like opaling on the amulet and things. I wonder if this is the purple version going in the tiara. Noticeable stone, details, texture used in the corset, detailed leather gloves of faction. Yeah.
Just kind of get
I
a
love
sense
that.
of different factions, different vibe, and the amount of work that goes into this concepting is just like extremely high to make sure the 3D guys have got a really great vision. And then this is an example of
That lady nailed it.
A rare hero where we're still able to use a decent amount of kit bashing to hit our speed that we need. Okay, and some games what they'll do is they'll take the exact model and just retexture it, and that's a new hero. We're not doing that. We're kit bashing pieces from models.
I love that.
And we're able to basically always create a new feel of character from the different kit bash ideas. So you can see we're kind of like taking elements from Shamash, from Satyr, from Imhotep, from Ceres, from the Berserker.
Yeah, and this is the cool thing about the games, right? It reminds me actually in a way of Warhammer. For any of you that have ever played or built Warhammer, kit bashing is something that you can do to personalise your own army. You can take like Space Wolf axes and put them on Blood Angels. Why you do that, who knows? But you get the idea. I love that they're doing that in the game as well. So yeah, they're taking the furs, the belt, Ceres, round accessories, and all throwing it together. It looks really cool.
And ultimately using different pieces to create a decent speed, but
actually, Druid Pouch moved to the side. I wonder what hero that's on.
Still feel unique to the character that we're trying to create. So Enkidu here is just sweet. I think certainly for rares, uncommons, commons, we're able to speed up the sort of cadence of what we're doing, and it means that we're able to hit our timelines that we want to hit. So this is an example of where we've improved some of
looks
the
cool.
rigging and animation so that we just get a more realistic feel. And for you guys, you're probably like, oh, it's just a dude running, right? But actually,
just so I didn't go for a jog. But it looks good.
The kind of feel of it is way better than it was before. And these...
Yeah, see, I think the word we're looking for is it's definitely more free-flowing.
Type of small touches make a big difference when you're trying to, play in the space that we're playing in for, the gotcha genre, I guess. So yeah, this is Odin taking a bit of a run. We've then got a couple of kind of 3D characters.
That's cool.
So this is Ran. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Hold on.
We've seen her before. Really good sort of.
Let's go back there.
We've then got a couple of kind of like finished 3D characters. So this is...
I love that. Was it just me, or did like the back of her crown feel like a bit of a shell?
The gotcha genre, I guess. So yeah, this is Odin taking a bit of a run. We've then got a couple of kind of like finished 3D.
So she is like a sea witch. That's what she known is, or she's like the embodiment of the sea in Norse mythology. And you've obviously got like the clam seashells here, sort of thing, in her braid. But the top feels like a, I don't know what to describe it, like a hermit crab. Like those pointy sort of conch shells. Is it just me, or does that look like that to you?
So this is Ran getting her turntable. We've seen her before. Really good sort of makeup work here. And then we've got Aslag, who's like a gritty kind
that's a new one.
of Norse hero who, it's going to be a rare, but...
Aslaug is the daughter of Sigurd and Brynhild. And she was also hidden in a harp. It's a weird thing. That's cool.
Ultimately, kind of got that I'm going to slay you type of vibe, which we like.
Best kind of vibes.
Show you a little bit on 3D environments. So... we're starting to get more stages in game right now. So unfortunately, the quality of this one, it doesn't sell it as well as it does in game. But this is the Eka stage where we're exploring different feel to the level design. And you can see kind of more of a close-up of the assets.
See, this is interesting, right? We were shown this a couple months ago in another video. And Simon said at the time it seemed too plain. what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and do a callback to that and see it, sort of what we can find. There we are. I think I found it. So this was from the Art Attack video that they did.
It's an Echor level, so based on the Gates of Babylon. This is still, it's not finished. There's still some stuff we're going to do to refine it. I'll give you the live feedback. So some of the feedback we said was, feels like we're seeing a lot of the same color on the level. We want to kind of improve that. Could we change perhaps some of the brickwork coloring or the path coloring so it's not all the same material everywhere? That's the type of stuff we discuss when we're going through these sessions.
Okay, so now that we have that, let's just take one more look. That's what we had. Let's go see what it is now. So just briefly going to put them side by side so you can see. Yeah, so what they ended up doing was making the path like a different color. Now I don't know if this is exactly the same, but it very much looks it. So they've got like the blue tiling in the flooring there. They've sort of just added some like sort of background stuff, which is fine, like the wooden planks, the statuette here, the animals. Bit more green on the left here with some scaffolding. Again, just to break up the same sort of browny colours that we were seeing everywhere. And yeah, definitely a lot more green around the gates. That looks pretty cool. Right, back to...
That have been created to do these designs. I've also got a playthrough of some assets that have been created for our Celtic type of vibe, so the Avalon faction. And again, these are all kind of done so that we can piece bits together in different levels and basically have, you know, a different level feel all the time. When you're running through kind of like different campaigns, you can see a whole bunch of like statue work that was done, arches, all sorts of stuff. You know, wagons and stuff in the background here. These type of asset packs we create for each of the different campaign levels. There's also a lot of work that's going on cutscenes. I think we finished 3 of the cutscenes now, which is kind of like our storytelling. They're going to be parallax stories. I'm just going to show you a couple of frames just to show you the kind of...
Ooh, Minotaur. That's going to be with a fat old axe. He's got some sort of like heavenly tethers around him. Now, is that an ability? Is that someone pulling him somewhere? Who knows?
Level that we're going for cutscenes.
Oh no, let's go back. Look at the bird.
Going for cutscenes.
Oh, that's interesting. So that is like the Parthenon or a stereotypical Greek temple there that is crumbled or been hit by some sort of apocalypse, whether that's an avalanche or something. Everything's burning. And I bet that is Odin's ravens, like Hunin or Mugin. I forget. Was it Hugin and Moonin? One of the two. Big battle going on there. That's it. That's cool.
Which look pretty sweet.
And then that gives, I don't know about you, that gives me Indiana Jones sort of vibes. Almost like Pandora's box kind of thing, but it's definitely like a Mesoamerican vibe on the front.
So we'll be telling the story of our world through these as you're working your way through campaign. Again, these are going to be like parallax animation, so with a voiceover, so you're going to be able to really experience it. Again, I don't know if I'm allowed to show this, but I'm going to show one frame.
Ooh, okay. What can we digest? One frame. Oh, that's interesting. The thing is, like, is that someone already in the game, or is that someone else? Like, your initial thought is perhaps like Merlin, but that's... If it's based on character models, that is nothing like Merlin in the game. Merlin is much more druidic in this game. See, to me, that looks a bit more like Koschei the Deathless. Yeah, I wonder... Let's see, let's double check. So I just had a look, actually. Koschei the Deathless looks more, well, dead. He looks a lot greyer, a bit more stockier. That guy's very... thin and sort of gaunt looking in the face. So, oh god, interesting. Who knows who that is? Who is the antagonist? Let me know in the comments down below.
Of our cinematic right now. So the cinematic song is done, and it is absolutely insane.
That's so the one done by that lady. I forget her name. I did a video on it, and she is entrancing.
The work being done right now in terms of, you know, visual fidelity and stuff for our storytelling in the cinematic is just out of this world as well. So really, really cool presentation here from Dane yesterday. But yeah, let me show you some of the 3D gym and that stuff as well. Actually, I'm going to start with proportion.
This next bit's where it gets spicy.
Yeah, so let me show you then our gym, the 3D gym, which is pretty cool, honestly. It's so cool.
So before we do anything, I said this in the Discord yesterday. So I'm just going to pull this over. I was having a conversation with Nicholas, who's one of the moderators, and we were just talking about 3D gym, that where Herc works out. It's Simon just casually dropping 3D gym. So I imagine it's where they work out the heroes, animations, fights, see how they look. See, at least that's where my brain draws me to, kind of like a Pokemon gym. And it turns out I was right.
So within Unity, we've now set up an environment. If you don't know how this works, you kind of, every level you build, I guess, is like its own scene. We're building this scene for a gym. The reason being is we want to be able to test animations and VFX in like a game environment really quickly. So we can literally...
This is where it got spicy. These are all heroes that are in the game. And then the ones that already have their abilities loaded also have these here too. So that's part of the reason why this is going or being recorded quite late, is because I'd seen this in Zox's video. Shout out to Zox. I wanted to skip all the way through it and just make notes of which characters I didn't have written down so I can start making web pages and things. But the funny thing is I didn't have to make as many as I thought I was going to make, because I had made some educated guesses from previous leaks. I was like, for example, Eurydice was leaked actually during the Gamescom podcast video. She's in the background. I believe Sham sort of mentions her. So in my head, I was like, well, you can't have Eurydice without Orpheus. So I made an Orpheus page, used some just random AI generated art, and then it was leaked in this video. It's like, oh my god.
Select any of our heroes that are currently imported into the game and test their animations in a game environment in that kind of like battle visual, which is really cool. So we're able to rotate characters around to...
So yeah, there you go. Orpheus was down there. But new to me, things like Nemean Lion, Med J, Yoms Viking, those are all new heroes. And I didn't believe we'd seen the names of the abilities yet either, especially for Musashi. So I have guessed some of these. Like, I believe Earnest Heart straightway is probably his passive. Sword Saint is his core ability, and Two Heavens as one as the ultimate. But this is exciting.
Change that. We can toggle things like the camera position and move that around. And we can also go between basically different levels of our build. So you can see here Damon's kind of playing around with this in terms of...
So these are some more ones that... Hoplite. When the Asgard Berserker got leaked, I assumed that we would have a Hoplite, just sort of a standard Greek soldier. I was right there. Faye Enchantress was new. Eurydice I had written down Dragon. Now, is that Ydre Glock, or is that someone else? Just standard Dragon? Who knows?
Of some of the different characters.
Desert Raider was new, Cyclops is new, Composite Boba is new, Enchantress is new.
Using their abilities, what does that...
And then, yeah, Power Lance, Ring of Flames, then...
feel like? Is it feeling good? All that type of stuff. And again, for us, this isn't about perfection at this point. It's just about, does it feel good? Does it feel right? The VFX team are able to kind of do their work really quickly. And then you can see here, so this is Damon then throwing it into one of our environments. So he's putting the same type of gym, but into our Khajiit stage, for example, which is honestly extremely cool. So we can test things like the lighting in the environment. We can test things like...
Poker Gym. Looks so cool.
Points and whether they still have the right sort of impact within environments. So what's cool here, you can literally just see Damon flick from one scene to another, and
That's so
we're
cool.
able to test things so much
It's
quicker.
going to make things so
It's
much easier.
actually
Yeah.
a great little piece of kit that they've built out, and just here it is, like playing some animation stuff.
It looks so
from, you know,
good.
different points of view.
So
toggling the
good.
camera. You can really
The
see,
Anubis
you know, we've
animation.
got some passes to do on lighting and stuff like that, but you can see we kind of blurred the background out because this is all about trying to get a feel for the characters, right? And whether they're really flowing well. But I mean, damn, it's actually so good. Okay, the last thing I want to show you here is the work that's been done around VFX. So again, we had this kind of like moment in time where we stopped.
Soul Calibur. Man, I loved that game.
Kind of like make sure that we had an understanding of what we're
I think it was Soul Calibur 2 I put in loads of hours in. I loved playing as Keelik and Talim, I think it was. She had like daggers, things that sort of like were always wrist guards as well. Yoshimitsu Ivy with like a whip sword. Raphael. Great game. Loved the Soul Calibur series.
trying to achieve from VFX for our game. So what we looked at is other games in this genre or general RPG stuff, and like what fits the style we're trying to achieve. So you can see here, Soul Calibur 6 was like one of the inspirations for the type of vibe we want. And it's a kind of intensity we want from ability hits.
Honkai.
It's the type of elemental kind of like damage and stuff like that we'd want. We looked at games like Honkai Star Rail.
Probably too anime.
Probably a bit too kind of like fast and crazy for us, but the quality they achieve is really strong. And then we wanted to look at games like Diablo 4, which has got this kind of like great use of lighting and
League.
dark contrast.
Okay.
We looked at games like League of Legends. It's not going to fit our style, but the work they do is really good. And then we
Ability
basically
leaks.
done a couple of tests with a new VFX conceptor. So we've kind of got, you know, Odin's abilities here, Ragnarok and Hunting Party.
God, now this is cool. So Ragnarok's obviously the ultimate. There's no way it's not. Right? But look at that. He's like planting. Is it gun gear? His spear into the ground, which is causing the world to explode and blow up. That's cool. And then Hunting Party, he's got Gary and his other wolf, I can't remember what it's called, as well as Hugin and Moon in there as all coming around. That looks cool. Love that.
Seeing what that could feel like, which is very cool. And we've also got Hell abilities.
Hell, the roots of Yggdrasil and the dead that are due. Okay, interesting. So the roots of Yggdrasil, obviously like plant roots and things coming up from the ground there to impale characters. Love that. The dead that are due, though, that is interesting. Like, is that also just a damage ability? I mean, it must be. She's a slayer, right? So it wouldn't be like a resurrection or anything like that. That is cool, though. Love that.
Here as well, which are a work in progress at the moment, but ultimately trying to land these really, really cool effects. And I guess one final thing to show you, which is pretty sweet. So I showed you Hell, what was it? Maybe for Halloween, which was a little while ago. It's just this kind of reveal here of Hell kind of coming into the game and having an idol breaker done. Well, since then, we've also been working on just some of the animation. So we don't have VFX yet, but we do have now this kind of very slick, honestly, very slick feel to her animations. And
so,
this is the level of quality we're moving into. So yeah.
That's obviously like that dead that are due, right? That's obviously she's jumping up and then casting that sort of fire laser stuff.
Very slick, honestly. Very slick feel to her animations, and this is the level of quality we're moving into. So yeah, I mean, look, tons going on, tons to absorb in that video. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you sub to this YouTube channel.
There we go. That is that. So lots and lots shown off there, as I mentioned earlier in the video. Lots been revealed. Super cool. I love these videos. I really look forward to them coming out on Tuesdays. I try to do a video on each one. Sometimes it's not possible, like the previous podcast one, for example. There wasn't really much to sort of discuss in that, if you will, so to speak. But my gosh, this has gone on for a long time. So thank you so much for sticking around. If you have watched to the end, I do appreciate it. Take care. Look after yourselves. Work hard. But as always, play harder. And I'll see you in another one soon. Cheers.